A massive industrial building in Guangzhou operates in total darkness. No lights, no windows, no workers, just the flicker of welding arcs as robotic arms assemble electric cars at 3 in the morning. This is a dark factory. China just opened dozens of them. They run 24/7 without a single human on the floor. Xiaomi built one where a finished car rolls off the line every 76 seconds. BYD built one that produces batteries faster than any facility in Europe. These factories don't need coffee breaks. They don't need shifts. They don't even need lights. They're called dark factories or lights-out factories. The name is literal. When you eliminate humans, you eliminate the need for lighting, climate control, safety rails, and break rooms. Xiaomi's EV plant in Beijing runs entire shifts in near-total darkness. Only a handful of technicians monitor from a control room upstairs. The floor itself is silent, except for the hum of motors and the rhythmic clang of assembly. If you like stories like this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because we cover the shifts most people miss until it's too late. The West is still debating whether automation will take jobs. China already answered. It will, and it's happening faster than anyone predicted. The economics are brutal. A factory worker in Germany costs around 45,000 euros per year, including benefits and social contributions. In the US, it's about $42,000 for an assembly line position. A Chinese industrial robot arm costs roughly $30,000 up front. Amortized over 5 years, that's $6,000 per year. It works 8,760 hours annually without breaks, sick days, or overtime. The German worker delivers 1,800 productive hours per year after accounting for time off and rest periods. The robot delivers nearly 5 times the uptime at 1/7 the cost. That's not a small edge. That's a revolution in unit economics. China figured this out first and moved fastest. CATL, the world's largest battery maker, runs a facility in Ningde where robots assemble battery cells in sterile rooms humans can't even enter. The precision required is sub-millimeter. A human hand would contaminate the environment and slow the line. BYD opened a lights-out plant in Shenzhen that produces electric vehicle powertrains. Output tripled compared to the old human-run line. Defect rates dropped from 2.1% to 0.3%. Speed and quality both improved because the robots don't get tired and don't make judgment errors at hour 7 of an 8-hour shift. Here's how a dark factory actually works. The building is divided into zones. Each zone handles one stage of assembly. Robots communicate through a local network faster than any human supervisor could coordinate. When a chassis enters Zone 1, the system already knows what model it is, what options it carries, and what the next 17 steps are. Cameras and sensors check every weld, every bolt, torque every paint thickness. If a defect is detected, the line doesn't stop. The bad unit gets flagged and routed to a separate repair bay, while the main line keeps moving. Throughput stays constant. Xiaomi's plant processes 120 vehicles per hour. That's one every 30 seconds on a good day. The 76-second figure includes quality checks. The robots themselves come from a mix of sources. Some are ABB and KUKA arms imported from Europe, but increasingly they're Chinese-made. Xiaomi and Estune produce industrial robots at half the price of Western equivalents. A 6-axis welding robot from KUKA costs around $80,000. The Chinese version costs $35,000 and performs the same welds at the same speed. The control software is open source. The maintenance is cheaper because parts are local. For a factory installing 200 robots, that price difference is $9 million. That's the entire first-year budget for a mid-sized plant in Ohio. China isn't just automating faster, it's automating cheaper. Now add humanoid robots and the equation shifts again. These aren't the clunky prototypes you saw 5 years ago. Unitree's G1 humanoid costs $16,000 and can walk, climb stairs, and manipulate objects with 2 hands. It stands 5 feet tall and weighs 77 pounds. Tesla's Optimus is reportedly targeting a similar price point for volume production. Figure AI demonstrated a humanoid assembling BMW components in South Carolina. But China is deploying them at scale in real factories, not just test cells. BYD has 30 unitary humanoids working alongside traditional robot arms in a Shenzhen battery plant. They handle tasks the fixed arms can't reach. They move between stations. They adapt. The advantage of a humanoid over a fixed arm is flexibility. A robotic arm is bolted to the floor. It reaches a fixed radius. To change its task, you reprogram it and sometimes rebuild the tooling. A humanoid walks to a new station. You tell it what to do, and it figures out the motions. That's the theory, anyway. In practice, most of these robots still need careful programming and supervision. But the gap is closing fast. The learning algorithms improve every quarter. What took 50 hours to teach a humanoid in 2022 now takes 4 hours. By 2026, it might take 20 minutes. The curve is exponential, and China is riding it harder than anyone else. Let's zoom out and talk about what this means at scale. China has 12.8 million people employed in manufacturing. The US has 12.1 million. The EU has roughly 30 million. If dark factories cut labor requirements by 70%, which is the current average across Xiaomi, BYD, and CATL plants, then you're looking at a displacement event affecting tens of millions of workers globally. Not over decades, over the next 10 years. The first wave hits assembly and welding. The second wave hits logistics and material handling as mobile robots replace forklifts. The third wave hits quality control and supervision as vision systems get better than human inspectors. The speed difference is staggering. Germany's Volkswagen produces around 45 vehicles per hour per line in its most efficient plants. Xiaomi's dark factory does 120. That's not a 10% improvement. It's a different category of production entirely. And it's not just cars. Foxconn operates lights-out lines in Shenzhen making smartphones. Midea runs dark factories producing home appliances. Lenovo assembles laptops with 90% automation. This is becoming the standard, not the exception. If you're a manufacturer in the West and you're not automating at this pace, you're not competing. You're just waiting to lose market share. The cost collapse is the real killer. When Xiaomi announced its SU7 electric sedan, analysts assumed it would price around $35,000 to compete with Tesla. It launched at $29,000. The base model undercuts the Model 3 by $6,000 and still makes a profit because the manufacturing cost is so much lower. BYD's Seagull, a small EV, launched in China at $10,500. That price was impossible 5 years ago. Dark factories made it real. When your labor cost per vehicle drops from $4,000 to $600, you can price aggressively and still hit margin targets. That's what's happening. And Western automakers can't match it without rebuilding their entire production infrastructure. The West is not standing still. Tesla's Gigafactory in Texas uses extensive automation. BMW is testing humanoid robots in South Carolina. Ford announced a $3.5 billion investment in battery automation in Michigan. But the pace is different. Chinese factories go from blueprint to production in 18 months. Western plants take 36 to 48 months because of permitting, environmental reviews, union negotiations, and safety regulations. None of those are bad things, but they slow deployment. And in a technology race, speed compounds. Every quarter, China's factories get smarter. Every quarter, the cost gap widens. By the time a Western automaker finishes building a new plant, China has already moved to the next generation of automation. Here's the part no one wants to say out loud. If China can manufacture everything with robots at a fraction of the cost, what happens to the 12 million manufacturing jobs in America and 30 million in Europe? Retraining is the usual answer. Learn to code, become a robot technician. But the math doesn't work. There are 200 workers on a traditional auto assembly line. A dark factory needs 12 technicians. That's a 94% reduction. Even if you retrain every displaced worker, there aren't enough technician jobs to absorb them. The new jobs require higher skills and pay better, but there are far fewer of them. That's the trade-off no politician wants to explain. The geopolitical implications are enormous. Manufacturing has always been power. The country that can build things cheapest and fastest controls supply chains, sets standards, and captures margins. For 70 years, that was the West. For the last 20, it's been shifting to China. Dark factories accelerate the shift because they remove the one advantage Western countries still had, which was skilled labor. If robots do the work, then labor skill doesn't matter anymore. What matters is who has the cheapest robots, the fastest deployment, and the best integration software. China leads on all three. That's not a temporary edge. That's a structural advantage that compounds over time. What comes next is even stranger. Right now, dark factories build cars, batteries, and phones. But the technology applies to anything manufactured at scale. Textiles, furniture, construction materials, pharmaceuticals, food processing. If a task is repetitive and requires precision, a robot can learn it. China is already testing dark farms where robots plant, harvest, and sort crops under LED lights. Dark warehouses where humanoids pick and pack orders. Dark kitchens where robotic arms cook meals for delivery. The pattern is the same every time. Remove humans, cut costs, triple speed. The entire physical economy is up for grabs. And China is moving faster than anyone else. The factory that runs in total darkness with robots building other robots isn't science fiction. It's operating right now in Guangzhou and Shenzhen and Beijing. Xiaomi built it. BYD scaled it. Dozens of other companies are copying it. The cost advantage is too large to ignore. The speed advantage is too large to compete with using old methods. This is the future of manufacturing. And it's not arriving slowly. It's already here. The next industrial revolution isn't about what we make. It's about who makes it. And the answer is no longer human. Subscribe and turn on notifications because the next story out of China makes this look small. Would you work in a factory where you're the only human on the floor? Drop your answer below. I read every single one.